So Indonesia, why we chose is we realized that the ecosystem over here is very very solid. Over here, the waste collector understands that what is
Yeah.
PET bottle
Yes.
and what is HDPE HDPE
Yeah.
bottle, what is glass bottle,
Yeah.
which has more economic value. So
Mm.
what I when I see different countries and their infrastructure, I find Indonesia is one of those countries where people are not just motivated to pick the bottle, but they are decently trained. So
Yes.
enough knowledge has been passed on to that point. We have a sophisticated system in our factory where
Hmm.
we have a capacity to recycle somewhere around 22,000 metric tons of
22,000 metric ton
yeah
per
year.
per
Yeah, so
year. Okay.
20,000
22,000.
yeah, so that's the
Okay.
most fantastic part of PET recycling, that it can be endlessly recycled. I will
Hmm.
repeat again. So it's not just 100% food grade recyclable product,
Yes.
but it can also be endlessly recycled. So one bottle, recycle, wash it, again produce it.
So
So it's a
how
complete
many
circular
time?
loop.
How many
So
time?
scientifically, study says that around 200 times you can easily do it, making sure that you have to like harus
Yes,
pakai
harus pakai
recycle packaging daur
recycle.
ulang material in your
Yes,
packaging.
yes.
Sama Adupi Indonesia bersih.
Halo Sobat Adupi, sekarang kita bertemu lagi dengan saya Christine Halim selaku Ketua Asosiasi Daur Ulang Plastik Indonesia. Dan hari ini kita kedatangan seorang tamu yang sangat spesial dari negara India. Ini bukan Syahrul Khan ya, tapi lebih ganteng daripada Syahrul Khan. Ini Pak Naman Mehta, salah seorang partner dan anggota kami di Surabaya. Hai Pak Naman.
Hello, hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, can you introduce about yourself? A slightly history, why you here and what you doing?
Yeah, hi. So I come from India, yeah, originally, and born there, brought up there, and I did my studies in India too, in Bangalore, and then
Okay.
I worked for a year or year and a half with Deutsche Bank in Germany, and then I moved there for a while. I did
Where
my
is it? In Berlin or?
no, I was in Munich.
Okay.
So I was in Munich, and then I worked there. I did my MBA there. For a couple of years, I was in Germany, and then eventually, as every traditional Indian family wants, I came
Yeah.
back to India, and then I started wondering what I have to do. So yeah, then I have a family business as well into virgin PET, which is used for
Yeah.
making plastic bottles.
Yes.
So my father has this business, and we have been into this business since past 22 years.
Wow.
So we sell this raw material to the people who make bottle.
The bottle.
That first quality one.
Yeah.
And then yes, this business has always been there, and we have been doing a decent job. But at the same time, we were wondering, what needs to be done. So it was that moment where I met someone who kind of lay down the entire roadmap, and then it was since that day that we have been together. So it was our co-founder,
Yeah.
Mr. Gautam Singh Rathore, who is an industry expert, and is a kind of a veteran in PET industry.
How do you know him?
So he's been my father's colleague for a very long time,
okay.
and he's been a kind of a guide mentor to me as well. And eventually both of us started exploring that what is the new opportunity that we could get. And yeah, so until recently, when we started speaking to various stakeholders in the industry of PET,
Yeah.
as far as, let's say, brands are concerned, customers are concerned, because we were already into the virgin PET application, right?
Yes.
So this was something that was new coming in, and what we realized that the first quality processing which is going on at the same time, recycling is something which is a lot talked about, a lot spoken, and
But before
government-
this, your family
no
has not-
background, no
okay.
experience. No. Of
Okay.
course, we understand the product very well,
Yes.
technically,
Yeah.
but no exposure, no experience towards recycling.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
zero understanding from the recycling perspective. So we invested a lot of our time and energy into
To study.
understanding the recycling. So before we decided that we are going to jump into the factory,
Yes.
or set up the factory of recycling bottles, we actually started trading.
Okay.
So we started buying a lot of recycled material from Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and then we were exporting to the customers who we were already selling our virgin PET.
Yeah.
So that way we did it for 2-3 years, and then we realized that there's a lot of work which can be done considering the fact that if we have our own factory. And then yes, we started the filtering process, that what we should do, where we should do. So we explored a lot of areas, we explored a lot of region, a lot of countries before finalizing Indonesia. So we eliminated a lot of countries on the grounds of where is the raw material available,
Yeah.
how friendly the policies within the country are, how good the policies are when it comes to exporting. So
Yes.
whether that country
Yeah.
has any anti-dumping duty on exporting the material. So a lot of points were to be checked, and eventually after eliminating, I would say 7 or 8 countries
Yeah.
on this check process, and spending a lot of days and weeks in those countries, we eventually realized that Indonesia is one of the country where it makes a lot of sense, because the quality of bottles in here. Oh, sorry. First, I need to tell. Yeah. So in Indonesia,
Yes.
we have set up the facility to
Yeah.
recycle PET bottles
Yeah.
for food grade applications.
Yes.
So the bottle that we recycle over here is actually meant for using it into food grade applications. So you can reuse the bottle again and again.
Yeah.
So once the bottle is thrown, it gets recycled in my
Yes,
facility.
yes,
Then I
yes.
sell it to somebody else who make the bottle again, and then consumers are drinking from that bottle. So this is my business model. So Indonesia, why we chose is, we realized that the ecosystem over here is very, very solid. Over here, the waste collector understands that what is
Yeah.
PET bottle,
Yes.
and what is HDPE HDPE bottle, what is glass bottle,
Yeah.
which has more economic value. So when I see different countries and their infrastructure, I find Indonesia is one of those countries where people are not just motivated to pick the bottle, but they're decently trained.
Yes.
So enough knowledge has been passed on to that point. So that was one good reason for us to choose Indonesia, and why we should come here. The quantity of raw material is available is good, quality as well is good, inflation is okay,
Yeah.
labor workforce is the potential of workforce is good, people are very soft and smart and sincere, disciplined. So everything was okay for us to do this. Power cost is very low as compared to other countries. So that was one of the most important reason for us to come here and operate. So yeah, all these things when evaluated, we realized that Indonesia makes a lot of sense in order to do it. And then as my partner, Mr. Rathor, also happens to be an ex.
Yes.
He has worked here for a very long time, so
Yeah.
he speaks the local language. So
Yes.
we
He
had that
speaks
soft
bahasa
access.
so well.
Yeah, he I think speaks better than most of the Indonesians that I've met. So
Yes.
so he happens to have like a soft access and easily approachable for us. So that really helped us in order to execute this project. And it's still a marathon. We've just gotten started.
Yeah.
And however, by God's grace, every step is a one step forward. So it's in the positive direction. And yes, we have been doing that. So yes, now I have moved here since past 18 months.
Yeah.
And we are working every day in the
Yes.
direction of how good or how better we can make this recycling ecosystem functionally smooth better.
Yeah. After you and Pak Rator decide to choose Indonesia, how long it will you set up and you find the partner and everything?
Yeah, so we have to credit luck a lot for that.
Yeah.
I am personally a firm believer in luck and
Yes,
timing,
yes,
because I come from a background where we credit our karma theory a lot.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
So I'm a firm believer of luck, and I would say that when we started exploring an opportunity, as I was mentioning that we had done trading earlier before we decided that we
You
are going
want
to
to-
execute
yes,
this project.
yes.
So while we were training, of course we had developed relationships with
Yes, with
the
the
people
the
and
local people, yeah.
interested wave or similar wavelength people. So this helped us evaluate that which people or which
You-
person is
You can be.
more motivated, or which person would be more easy or helpful in terms of
Yes.
extending this relationship.
Yes, yes.
So that trading experience really helped us a lot in evaluating the kind of people that we want to work with.
Yeah.
And that way, yes, we spoke to few people, and as I mentioned that we had a good global access because from the Virgin PET experience,
Yes.
as what Mr. Rathore has, this kind of platform or this kind of offering that we had for the local partners really helped us in kicking this project. And fortunately, people were on board in no time, and everyone was thinking in the same direction that yes,
Yeah.
something needs to be done. Yes, green
Yeah,
business is the way
yes.
forward. And frankly, we have to accept that that you have to build business not just for like greener environment. Of course, it's our duty,
Yeah.
but the business can only be run if it's sustainable, not just from environment
Yes,
perspective, but
yes.
also
Yeah,
from
also
the
from
economical
economic,
perspective.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's extremely difficult for people to stay motivated, right? So we had to have the entire plan, and when we pitched it to our local partners, yes, they were all on board, and thankfully, we've just gotten started. So yeah, slowly went working
realized.
on it, and then started coming across a lot of like-minded people, and then yeah, we realized that recycling has a lot of potential to offer. So yeah, then we met few interesting people on our journey, and then we filtered our entire business model. Like, what if, for instance, if the green business is the way forward, yes, we do it.
Yeah.
Then what is the new product that we feel that has got more potential? So we saw that PET itself, because we have a background in PET, we have a
Yeah.
experience towards that. So we thought, okay, let's just do recycling of PET. So yeah, and then we filtered the product, then we filtered the country. So
What bring you to Indonesia?
yeah, so we before deciding onto the Indonesia, I think Mr. Rathore and myself went on to a tour of almost 7-8 countries.
7-8 countries.
Yeah, before finalizing,
Okay.
So we were, before Indonesia, actually we were very close to confirming our project to Sri Lanka. But for some reason, we did not get an approval from the government, and the raw material shortage. So fortunately, yes, we then filtered that what kind of economic policy works, government where is
Yeah.
more supportive, and then where is the collection system good,
Yeah.
where is the quality of the bottles good,
Yes.
which countries have better diplomatic relationships with foreign countries, so
Yeah.
that whenever we produce our goods, where we can really export. So there, yeah, all these things when we figured out, we actually realized that Indonesia is really nice place, and it makes more sense to set up a factory here. So
Yeah.
then yeah, we actually landed up
So
here. and
Indonesia
then
is the chosen country.
I would not say that I'm that great, but yeah, Indonesia, so God helped us, give us the direction, and yeah, we met some good like-minded people across in the journey, and
Yeah.
so yeah, we went through, and now we are, of course, already 1.5 year old, and we've got a facility here in Jombang, East Java,
Yeah.
where we are recycling almost 2 billion PET bottles every year
Yeah.
for food grade application.
That's good. And so how many party in this joint venture in Bumi Indus actually?
Yeah, so we are the only foreign investor in
Yeah.
this company, and of course, because we wanted the local partner, and with respect to the local expertise we need, because we also did not have the relationships with the collection centers and governments and everything. So yes, we definitely needed a local partner, and for that we had met 2 companies on our journey. So one was with respect to Bumi Lanchar Abadi, who
Yeah.
happens to be having a very good relationship in terms of collection centers, which is the most essential part in any recycling business, because
Yeah.
your marketing is second most important,
Yeah.
but the primary thing which is
Feedstock,
the
yeah.
most important in any recycling business, be it paper,
Yeah.
metal, plastic, whatever, it's the raw material, your
The
procurement. So that's the
yes.
most important part, and that's where we found our partner Bhumilan Charapati.
Yes.
And then yes, on top of all this, we were supported, and on the way we came across an interesting brand owner as our investor and partner, and professionally helping us on every part of our journey, which is the Mayura Group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Mayura Group happens to be our partner as well in this journey, who has been
So
helping
all
us.
all the material that you recycle, you have to sell it to Mayura, or
No, there's no. It's not anything like that. However, yes, we do have commercial relationships
Yes.
with Mayura Group,
yeah.
and Mayura Group is, of course, helping not just on the marketing side, in the sense like not just buying the material from us, but more on the also equally important, like equal amount of help is also being given to us on the collection side,
Yeah.
and spreading consumer awareness, education, working closely with the society, spreading programs with respect to
Yes.
educating people that how, why, what is PET, how to choose wisely, how to dispose your waste wisely. So it's a complete
Yeah.
package,
So
I would say.
if I'm not wrong, they also make some commercial in the television or social media about how to dispose
Yeah.
your packaging,
Yeah.
the bottle packaging.
Yeah.
It's related with your recycling company. And can you tell us? Okay, so what is actually what you recycle, and it to be what kind of commodity?
Yeah. Okay. So we are typically involved in recycling of such packaging. So that is PET, plastic bottle.
Yes.
So PET is a food grade polymer through
Okay.
which these mineral water bottles, juice bottle, Coca-Cola
okay.
bottles,
Yeah.
or like your all the food grade bottles, like soda juices,
Yeah.
oranges,
Yeah.
etc.
Yes.
So that becomes, so once the consumer has used those bottles are disposed,
Yeah.
and then through a proper chain, there's a system where it's being
So
picked by
actually,
the
what is the system?
yeah. So this system is that the waste is first disposed by the post-consumer waste, and which is
Yeah.
picked up by waste collectors,
Yes.
which then goes to a local aggregator who
Yeah.
tries to collect more waste. So it's a layer over layer and over layer, and then
Yeah.
until it reaches a local distributor who tries to bale press it,
Yeah.
like compress it, so that it's easier to send from one place to another.
Yeah.
And then that becomes effectively our raw material, which comes to our facility
Yes.
in the form of PET bales.
Hmm.
And these bales, we have a sophisticated system in our factory where we have a capacity to recycle somewhere around 22,000 metric tons of
22,000 metric ton
Yeah.
per
year.
per
Yeah,
year.
so
Okay.
22,200.
22,000.
Yeah, sorry. so yeah, we have a capacity to recycle these quantity of bottles
Yeah.
in a very very sophisticated manner,
Yeah.
where we have technology, and it's from Germany as well, which
okay.
helps us sort out the waste, segregate the
Yeah.
waste, and collect the bottle, process it, wash it, convert it into flakes, and then we have another technology from Austria where we convert these flakes into resin granules.
Yes.
So it's a very sophisticated
And
system
after
where we
it become the granule, it
Yeah.
can be turned back to
into bottle.
the bottle again.
Yeah, so that's the
Okay.
most fantastic part of PET recycling, that it can be endlessly recycled. I will repeat again. So it's not just 100% food grade recyclable product,
Yes.
but it can also be endlessly recycled. So one bottle, recycle, wash it, again produce it. So it's a complete circular loop.
How many times?
So scientifically, study says that around 200 times you can easily do it.
Okay.
But on top of that, there is no data. However, there is no degradation which can be found in terms of polymer. Of course, the
Okay.
color is going to get a
Yes,
little
yes.
faded because it's
Yeah.
exposed in the environment for so
Yes,
long.
yes.
However, from the application point of view, from the age point of view, from the chemical properties point
Yeah.
of view, it can still be endlessly,
Endlessly,
recycled.
it's endlessly, but it's the quality itself still food grade.
Yeah. Food grade, of course, as long as the system is in place and the bottle is going through the same sophisticated
Yeah.
washing process, same sophisticated extrusion process.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
So
can
right
be
now,
endlessly
where is
recycled.
your market? Is
So-
it inside this country, or you export, or?
Yeah. So at this moment, of course, we have so our entire procurement is locally in Indonesia.
Okay,
So
so
we
you
are
use 100%
yes
the
Indonesian
post-consumer bottle from Indonesia.
Indonesia as well.
You
Yeah. Do
don't
not import.
you do not import at
Yeah,
all.
not at all. So we
Okay.
are committed on a mission of procuring the entire our raw feedstock from the local communities.
Yeah.
So we work very closely with our local partners, our
Yes.
local raw material suppliers, whom we support and perform our duties and responsibility with those in a very very simple manner of
Yeah.
supporting with them with enough resources and
Yes.
like cash flows, etc. So yeah, we do have our entire procurement from Indonesia, and then we are
Sell
kind
it.
of working on like a 50-50 model where our 50% of our sales are in local
Local
within Indonesia,
Indonesia.
and rest of the 50% the demand is mainly from the North America and
Okay.
Europe. So this is where, and a little bit from Far East countries as well.
Yeah, as I know,
But export too, yeah.
As I know, the needs of the PET material itself in Indonesia, it's still high.
Yeah.
But why you cannot sell it everything in Indonesia?
Exactly. So, an interesting fact is that Indonesia, Thailand, I think Indonesia and Thailand are one of those two countries in the world where the per capita PET consumption is extremely high.
Yeah.
So that means that there's a lot of space,
Yes.
for a room
Yeah.
for to make people aware and about like how important and why it is
Yes,
important to
yes.
really effectively dispose and recycle the packaging. But coming back to your question is that why not in Indonesia?
Yeah.
So as we know that at this moment, the mandatory usage of recycled content is mainly in Western countries, where the government has been very, very proactive in terms of making sure that you have to harus
Yes,
pakai
harus pakai
packaging,
recycle.
daur ulang material in your
Yes,
packaging.
yes, yes.
Tapi over here, until right now, I would say government is very, very much interested.
Yeah.
What I could hear and understand from
Yeah.
various stakeholders
Yes, yes.
and from the various events that we try to visit and talk to, I can observe that Indonesia is very serious about this problem of marine litter, landfill. They are
Yes,
very
indeed.
serious.
Yeah.
Government is also very, very serious. They are not taking things for granted.
Yeah.
Industry is also very serious,
Yeah.
and I believe with the same pace, in the same direction, Indonesia is also very, very close to making these kind of rules like
be the
really mandatory.
mandatory.
So I feel that everything is moving in a very, very right direction. The leadership in local Indonesian government is also good, and all the stakeholders are also, of course, participating well.
Yeah.
I think it's a matter of time. To me, in my
Yes,
view.
yes, yes.
So you may hear from other people that people will keep complaining, that no, nothing is happening. But I am a bit of a more optimist person, and
Yeah.
I think everything is happening in the right direction.
So do I. So do I. I
Yeah,
feel
I'm very optimist. Yeah, I'm very
about it.
optimist. I would not complain that nothing is happening, nobody's
No,
doing,
no.
everyone is just talking. Of course, it's not an overnight decision.
Yes.
I could imagine, I wonder if it could have been a quick fix.
Yeah, yeah.
In a matter of second you can make everything do. But it's a big decision, to make things mandatory, because
Yes,
eventually
yes.
the impact will be on the local Indonesian people. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And you have to meet the inflation
and you also
requirements
can
and everything.
see
right?
the progress year by year. I think
Exactly,
you
exactly.
already here for 2.5 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 years since I've moved, but
Yes.
prior to that, of course, a lot of travel.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I think we have a lot of study together.
Yeah.
And we see right now the government, if we compare with last year,
Yeah.
we do many study about the recycle content and everything. And I think for the PET, we already have a very complete ecosystem.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. So not just like the players involved, but I think the only thing which, when I had come since past 2 years, the only thing that I had found a little difficult to understand was that how much is the awareness being spread
Yes.
until the bottom of the chain
Yeah.
or the pyramid,
Yeah.
right? So that is where I feel a lot of work is being done,
Yeah.
not just by government but a lot of private
Yes.
institutions like
Yeah.
Adobe for that matter,
Yeah.
and for the a lot of other organizations are also there who are working very very closely. Other foreign countries, embassies, programs, WWF, IMF. So there are n number of companies who are
Yes.
willing. And so what I'm trying to say is that there is enough guidance, support,
Yeah.
empowerment
Yeah.
around. It's just that we need some very motivated individuals and entrepreneurs to connect all
Yeah.
the dots and make this ecosystem a very very sustainable chain. It is very much doable, and government seems to be more than serious, like they are very serious. Because trust me, I have been to a lot of economies in that way.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah. Yeah.
people how much serious they are. So everyone does talk, but
Yeah.
I would say there are very few countries who are closer to execution,
Yes.
and I believe Indonesia is one of them. So I'm very optimistic.
Yeah,
on that.
and one more thing, Pak Naman, about the quality itself.
Yeah.
How you can make sure that this quality is food grade? Is there any kind of the standard
Yeah.
from Indonesia itself or from another country that you said that you are exporting right now
Yeah.
to Europe and United States as
Yeah.
well? Can you please enlighten
Yeah.
us?
So it's a fair question, right? So and it's so if
because
you
this is
recycle-
for the food grade, yeah,
Yeah, I
for the
understand.
consumption.
I understand.
That's why.
So I'll have to give you a bit of a detailed answer. So recycling is not something which is very new. Okay, recycling has been there since past, I don't know, so many years, 30, 40 years, even before I was born.
Okay.
So so recycling is very old. However,
Yes.
all these years the recycling has always been done from the perspective of cost cutting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the person who was doing recycling and the person who was using the recycled product, like commercially,
Yeah.
they were all doing in order to save the cost. So
Yeah.
there was no
To
real
reduce
clear
the
vision
material cost.
yeah, for the product cost. So environmental concern, green story,
yeah.
that had nothing to
Yes,
do with
yes,
it, right?
yes, yes.
So that kind of recycling had always been there, considering across the different applications, be it paper, be it plastic,
Yeah,
be it
yeah,
metal,
yes, yes.
etc. Right?
Yeah.
However, in past 10-15 years, we have to, let's say, thank Western countries or a lot of global not-for-profit organizations
Yes.
for awakening the entire world on the
Yeah.
issue of climate change
Yes.
and green environment and everything. And we are seeing crazy interest from various industries and countries on there has to be like things to be done on the greener part and on
Yeah.
the pollution side.
Yes.
So that way recycling on food grade applications slowly came into the picture.
I think it's just few years. Yeah.
Yeah, very recent.
Very recent.
Very
yes.
recent. So on the issue of when the interest developed that yes, there are certain products on which the recycled product can be used for food grade applications as
Yes,
well,
yes.
and not just non-food grade. So prior to that, as I was speaking earlier, that recycling which was happening for PET, it was always happening for lower downcycled application product like polyester,
Yes.
carpets, shirts,
Yes. Staple fiber.
brush fibers, etc.
Yeah.
Right. So that was all downcycle, and people were using that for cost cutting process.
Yes.
However, there was a recent development that you can use this product endlessly into the food grade application. But considering you have to have the required technology,
Yes.
you have to have required trained personnel who are working on the technology. You have to have various certifications, audits,
and you have to meet the
approved.
standard. Yeah.
And when you have all these three things, you have to meet the certain standards of quality of the product. Then you are eligible to sell it for food grade application.
Yeah.
So at Bhumi Indus, yes, we do have the required technology, which is FDA and EFSA and
Yes.
various. It's been approved from various authorities.
Yeah.
So we did install the required technology. We have our guys, our personnel undergoing serious level of intense training on how to operate these machines, and not just operate machines, but prior to evaluating the quality of raw
Yeah.
material that we are processing, because eventually we are dealing with nothing but post-consumer waste, right?
Yes.
So we have to be extremely cautious in terms of how to effectively handle that way. So,
Yeah.
so long story short, yeah, so training was done very, very intensely, and then yes, of course, we have our product produced, which we have that product also got tested through various
Yeah.
laboratories, external laboratories, which are
Yes.
US FDA approved, and so our product is also various
Okay, so
approved through certifications.
all your product right now already meet the certification.
Exactly.
And if the brand owner comes to you, so what is the level of the percentage that you will suggest them to put as a recycled content in their bottle?
Yeah. So
Ideally.
as far as technically concerned, you
Yeah.
can use 100%
Oh,
as well.
really? 100%, yeah.
So there is no like deviation or variance or difference you can spot
Okay.
in terms of shelf life, in terms of quality of the water inside the bottle.
Okay.
Nothing gets impacted as long as the raw material which you are using, the recycled PET which you are using, is already meeting the requirement, like the standard requirement of US
Okay.
FDA or your processes.
So if they want to use 100% recycled
Bisa.
content, bisa ya?
Yeah, they can.
Okay.
They can. But of course,
How
every
about
brand has
the
its own.
smell
Nothing.
or nothing?
So when I say about various food grade certification which companies like us have to go through and achieve it before we are eligible to sell it
Yes.
to brand owners or to anyone who wants to
Yeah.
use recycled PET, these are the various processes that we have to go through. So we have to make sure that our product does not smell bad and it's within the limits. Our product's colors are good. Our product's strength is good. Our product's life is going to be good. So these are all
Okay.
various criteria that we have to meet.
Before you launched it, yeah?
Yes, everything. So contamination free. So there are a lot of criteria like benzene and various other chemicals that we have to make sure that
So
it's not there.
there will be few parameter that you have to fulfill, yeah?
Exactly, yeah. Before that, we cannot sell it.
So
It's
the
gonna-
standard, if I'm not wrong, is also came from Indonesia and also have.
So no, typically these standards are global.
Oh, global
standards.
standard, yeah.
So these are mainly, let's say, in line with US FDA, EFSA, so various food grade authorities in the world.
Okay.
So more or less it's the same, but yeah, these are non-negotiable parameters. So you cannot
Yes,
compromise
yes.
with that because eventually you are dealing with the life of the people, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you have to meet these standards, and of course we meet these standards, and our product gets tested thoroughly first. And yes, once we are approved, then yes, you can use it in your packaging, and there is no limitation. I would repeat, there is no limitation on the percentage or proportion of recycled content that you want to use in PET packaging.
Yeah.
You can use it 100% as well.
Okay.
But of course, it depends upon, because since Indonesia does not have a mandatory policy
Yes.
as yet,
Yes.
so it depends upon brand owners
Yeah.
to what percentage they are comfortable with
Yeah.
respect to their corporate strategy. If
Okay.
they are comfortable with 30%, 20%, 50%, it completely
Okay,
depends
so
upon them.
as their wish, yeah.
Yeah, as their wish, exactly, as per
Okay,
their
so
strategy.
we talk about the quality, and right now, recently I heard about the traceability itself
Yeah.
from the feedstock, because
Yeah.
we have to make sure that this material came from the proper collection. And what do you think about it?
So yeah, I mean, traceability has been one of the biggest
Since
challenge.
Indonesia doesn't have the deposit return system
Yes.
like in.
So you have to understand that Indonesia is a country of 17,000 islands.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's no joke,
Yes.
to easily formulate the
Yeah.
traceability for that matter.
Yes.
It's a country of 17,000 plus islands, and it's one of the most, I would say, spread across, in terms of geography. So population is very, very widely spread across. But however, let's just talk about Java, where the majority of the population
Yes.
is. So that is where the maximum amount of work is being done. That is where also the maximum amount of awareness and interest is being spread across.
Yeah.
So traceability is one of the things where I believe a lot of challenge has been there, because until now, across the world, this is the work, sadly, or I don't know how to say that, fortunately, unfortunately, but this has been a very unorganized market.
Yeah.
And unorganized players have been, procuring, and then the material is going. But we see a lot of things happening with respect to a new kind of label packaging where,
Yes.
brand owners are trying to come up with a solution of barcode system or blockchain system where
Yes, yes.
you can trace it, that what kind of, how much the quantity of the bottles are being collected and where across it is happening. So again, work is happening,
Yes.
but yet we are still a bit far from, giving a 100% traceability kind of performance. But I believe, yes, it's easy to map it because Indonesia is anyway coastal country, right? So most of the material which is getting picked up is anyway was bound to go into ocean or landfills anyway.
Yeah.
So that is something good which is happening. But yes, in order to account it, put it into numbers, traceability, I think we are a bit slow in that right now. There's a bit of time.
Okay, and Pak, I heard from a few brand owner why, and when I asked them why you don't put the recycle content, especially for the brand owner
Yeah.
who spread their product in Indonesia, why you don't use the recycle content, and they said that the product itself, the price, it's higher than virgin material, the prime material.
Yeah.
So what is the reason? And many people asking me about that. Why why now recycle from the PET, especially for the food grade price? It's higher from the original material.
Yeah, so it's
Why
one
is
of
that?
the
Or
surprise.
do you want to get more profit for that?
I wish if I could do that. However, we have to understand this thing. As I said in the beginning of our podcast earlier, that initially the recycling was happening with the perspective of cost cutting.
Yeah.
So this particular thing is still there in
Yes.
each and every person's
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
That recycling means lower cost.
Yes.
But you have to understand that the kind of recycling which we are doing,
Yeah.
in terms
What is
of
the
meant
difference?
for food grade application,
Yes.
it's not really a common process.
Yeah.
I don't know whether our audience gets to view gets to see the video or something.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a sophisticated process that we have to, make the bottles go through.
Yeah.
There's a lot of contamination filtering process.
Yes.
So there's a cost to it. Yeah. So the kind of recycling that the industries like us which are doing in
Yeah.
terms of making the product eligible for food grade application
Yes.
is not cheap.
Yeah.
It's not
So
cheap.
you
It
are
comes with an
yeah.
extreme high cost, and we have a certain fixed cost which fortunately or unfortunately at this moment is higher than the virgin PET cost.
Yeah.
Because virgin PET, the prime material, the first quality material, itself's price is currently quite low since COVID. So it's a bit of a challenge from the brand owner perspective as well, that how to accept recycled PET price higher than the virgin
especially
PET
in the
in the competitive and challenging environment.
Yeah.
But from the recycle perspective as well, recycling companies perspective as well, we have to see that there's a certain cost element involved. For example, if the crude oil, let's say,
Yes.
price goes down,
Yeah.
the virgin PET prices will go down.
Yeah.
But if crude oil prices are going down, it is not going to impact the cost of bottle being collected from the street.
Yes.
The waste picker is still going to charge me the same.
Yeah, because
Even if the crude is $100 or $50,
Yeah.
he's still going to charge me the same. So it's quite unfair to determine, to link the relationship between
The oil price
first quality
with
and
the-
it's a complete different market.
yeah.
So I would say it's a bit of a interesting environment where we are working at this moment, and there are a lot of stakeholders involved. So everyone is adding a certain value, right from the waste picker to local aggregator to
Yeah.
local distributor.
Very long
So it's a
time
big
and
chain.
very-
Everyone
yeah.
is working
Yes.
extremely hard, and it's a ruthless, I would say, model where people are working under the sun to get the
Yeah.
waste and get it, filtered and processed. So there's definitely a cost involved to this ruthless chain.
Yes.
And at this moment, it is of course higher than the virgin first quality material. Simply because the cost of producing
Yeah.
itself is extremely high.
Yes.
So more we move in the coming years, more we move towards higher supply, higher raw material. I believe the gap between the recycled material and the first quality material
Will
can be reduced. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm certain I think this can happen, but as at this moment it's difficult because we do have a certain fixed cost which is higher
So how
than
do
virgin
you
PET.
see about the statement that EPR should be determined in Indonesia and should be accelerated to applicate here in Indonesia to create the demand for the industry like you?
Yeah, I would say that EPR is now nothing new for everyone. Now
Yes.
everyone has been expecting EPR to come in at some point, and the sooner it comes, better it is, because the lesser the chaos it would be.
Yeah.
So we have to understand this thing that if we are able to monetize on the cost of environment,
Yeah.
then there has to be certain actions, certain commitments which needs to be shown towards the environment and everything, right? So yes, from the government side, EPR looks very serious, and if EPR comes into the scene, then it's not just that recyclers like us are going to get benefited in terms of better demand, but it's the whole ecosystem, full chain,
Yeah.
which gets supported, motivated, not just monetarily but non-monetarily as well, and most importantly consumer awareness as well, right? So people also, because eventually government's role is also, like, government also cannot do everything by themselves.
Yes,
so eventually
yes.
it has to be like
Yeah, has to
everyone
be
has
the
to work together,
collaboration
right? It has to be
from
collaborated.
every stakeholder.
Bitul. So, and believe it or not, this kind of work does need funds, right? So
Yes,
it's not so
yes.
easy, because motivation is good, but
Yeah,
motivation.
but if you don't have any,
But yeah, so motivation is good, but
Yeah.
motivation lasts only a few days if it's not driven by
yes,
funds.
yes, yes.
It's
Yeah.
a harsh truth, but it is, right?
Yeah.
So in order to have a consistent motivation, you need to have
You have-
financial push,
yes,
right?
yes, indeed.
So as far as that thing does not come in, the entire ecosystem does not get trained, and I see that thing only being possible through EPR. So, and once the EPR comes into the scene, it not only would help us in better collection rates,
Yeah.
but in terms of quality, lesser carbon footprint, more greener environment. So it gives a good, I would
Yes.
say, economic
Yeah.
and goodwill
And
kind
the
of image for
social,
country,
yes,
social goals. So everything
yes.
is good. But if we can have a bit of a EPR, and it's not just something that we are asking the big companies to directly, put it from your pocket, but it's something that you are just doing as your CSR sort of event thing,
Yeah.
because you are anyway generating from the society. So of course,
Yes,
you need to
yes.
do something again in
So,
return.
how do you see the future of this industry? Since I got the numbers of the using of the PET itself, it's just 490,000 metric ton per year. So the data
This
that
is for recycled bottle.
no.
This
This
is
is
for
for the
virgin.
virgin.
Yeah, exactly.
This
Yeah.
is for the virgin for a year.
Yeah.
And right now, if I'm not wrong, there were many PET recycling, food
Yeah.
grade on and non-food grade.
Yeah.
Everybody is looking for the same feedstock,
Yeah.
and everybody right now it's very struggling in
Yeah.
get the feedstock,
Yeah.
and some of them also importing from the other country.
Yes.
And the new investor from other country or from inside the country also coming
To
in
collect the
Indonesia to invest in the same PET
Industry.
recycling
Yeah.
industry. What do
Yeah.
you see?
Yeah, so PET is an extremely, I think I would say PET is the most preferred or favored
Yes.
polymer, because
Yeah.
it has got the highest value.
Yes.
Now, why it has got the highest value, the PET as a polymer, is that because it is 100% food grade recyclable.
Yes.
And it can be used across different applications.
many
Yeah,
applications.
right from polyester, fabric, textiles,
Yes,
fibers,
yes.
etc.
Yeah.
And then now, of course, into food grade applications. So it has been an industry where the collection has also been good, because for any waste picker it is easier to spot
Yes.
the PET as a polymer
Yeah.
versus
Very-
HDPE,
yeah.
LDPE or
Yeah.
other polypropylene.
It's very easy,
to spot it, right?
Yeah, to spot
so,
it.
So the collection of this particular polymer has also been very, easy and growing.
Yeah.
Now, as far as recycling rate is concerned, in the recent years, of course, as I said, that the awareness on using it into food grade application has been growing significantly, which has attracted a lot of investors and companies or new age entrepreneurs to come in and materialize this
Yes.
opportunity. So Indonesia is one of those countries where I believe in my view, I think Indonesia is one of those rare countries where they have been a net exporter of PET flakes, the
Yes.
recycle. It's one of the rare. I think it's a very rare fact
Yeah.
because I come from India, and what I see over there is India is a net importer of
Import.
PET
Yes,
flakes.
yes. But here we also export the material.
Significant.
Yeah.
So more than what Indonesia use, they actually export. So Indonesia has traditionally been a net exporter of PET flakes, like the recycled PET.
Yeah.
So any industry which is export driven, so the groundwork in that industry or in that country is very strong.
Yes.
The collection system is very strong over here. The chain is very
Yes,
strong.
yes.
The recyclers are well educated. So what I'm trying to say is that the ecosystem in Indonesia traditionally has been very strong.
Yes,
As
yes.
in, I would not differ to say, but I actually
Yeah.
I can say this
Yeah.
because I can compare different countries at the same time.
Yes.
So because of it, this is also another very good reason for other people to come here.
To here.
And then of course this Indonesia is what, fourth most populated country in the world, right?
Yes.
With 300 million.
300 million people.
Yeah, so there's ample amount of PET bottles available.
Yeah.
And then of course Indonesia has a very healthy relationships across the world with developed and other countries, so it has a duty advantage of
Yeah.
not having any anti-dumping duties. So for that matter, I think a lot of people are coming in here and investing into packaging and the resources, raw material is available. But coming back to your point, that how is the raw material availability
Yes.
and
Don't you
what are the
feel like-
challenges?
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand.
Worry
it's not so
about
easy.
the feedstock?
Yes, we are quite worried and not worried, I would say, but yeah, it's not so easy to get our desired quality of raw material. Yeah, I would say that yes, bottles are available, but then of course there has to be a difference between bottles meant for food grade recycling and bottles not meant for food grade recycling. So there's still a lot of work yet to be done, on which I think the responsibility lies not just to brand owners or government, but to people like us as well, where we really need to go a level down and work along with the waste collectors and train them, get some more investments, resources, in knowledge in terms of professional guidance, that how effectively we can improve the collection rate, secure the raw material, because this business, as I said in the beginning, that the marketing is second most important, but the primary thing which is
to get the material,
to raw material. And these days, yes, import is also happening a little bit from outside the world, from outside the country. We are unfortunately we do not import anything.
Why you don't do it?
Yeah, so we do not want to do it because it's a bit of a challenge in terms of for us at least, because we are into food grade application, and for us it's extremely difficult to have a quality standard met, because for us, let's say any Indonesian supplier also to professionally qualify or quality wise qualify, it takes time, because we have a very long process to validate the supplier in terms of start supplying us the material. So we cannot take risk in terms of buying post-consumer waste PET bottle from outside Indonesia, because we have no control, we have no access over the kind of bottles which are being collected outside Indonesia. Yeah, okay, for polyester applications, which are for non-food grade, it's okay, you can. But still, I am not a supporter of a policy of importing other country garbage or waste into your country. I'm a complete, criticizer. I would criticize that things that
so
I do not appreciate that fact.
But
But yeah, if people are doing, it's their call. They have to have a reason for it. But as far as food grade application is concerned, for us it's extremely important that how we control our raw material, how we have our quality points checked. So we as as much as possible, we would like to be associated with the suppliers where we can access and where we have access and where we can reach out to. So we prefer doing that way only.
Yeah, how long you built the facility?
So we built the factory in record time, by the way. Our factory is built in Jombang, East Java,
Yeah.
and we are almost like an hour drive away from Surabaya city. And we built our factory around in the land 20,000 square meters,
Yeah.
20,000 square meters space,
Yes.
and we had, I think, built in the matter of 8 months.
Wow,
The entire
it's so
factory.
fast.
Yes, I think I believe for us the key was that we had to start the factory very quick because it's a long process.
Yeah.
Once, even if you have set up the factory, there's a long
Mm.
process for quality checks and machine setups and everything, right? So it took us 8 months, and at one point of time, we had on an average 200 to 250 people working on the site.
Yes.
So yeah, we built it quite fast. We have built wastewater treatment plant as well, where we responsibly
Hmm.
dispose the waste. We have solar power driven forklifts. So we are effectively a net negative carbon emission producing company.
Yes.
So we are quite green that way. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why you choose Jombang in East Java?
So Jombang, of course, the primary reason is its proximity to the port,
Yeah.
and it's very close to the port, just like 2 hours.
Yes.
And then, of course, the land price was very, very friendly.
Yes.
And then when we researched in the local market, we happened to find a good amount of human resource available. And yeah, so considering all these points, mainly from the proximity of port and human resource available, I think it made all the sense. And plus, we wanted to be a bit away from Jabotabek area because that's
Yeah.
where the most noise is.
Yes. Yes.
And a lot of people are already there in Jabotabek area, so it makes it a bit difficult in terms of managing your procurement. So
Yeah.
we purposely went south, as in the East Java.
Yeah, because
So-
Jombang is like in the central between the Surabaya and also the central Java. Yeah?
Yes, exactly. So we have all the resources coming in from the small nearby towns like Mojokerto, Sidoarjo, Kediri, Malang. So all these cities help us in, and of course in Surabaya, definitely, right?
Yeah.
So yes, we strategically decided that we want to be a bit away from Jabotabek. Of course, we are away from the major population who lives in Jakarta,
Yes,
Jabotabek
yes.
region, but still, it's not bad. Yeah, it's decent, but
Mm.
at least we won't have to, fight very hard. So for getting the bottles. So infrastructure was well equipped and trained. That was also something that we researched prior to deciding
Yeah.
that we want to set up in Jombang.
Jombang.
So yes, that way, yes, the resources are there. Raw material was good, and yes, it was not. It's good. It's a wise decision, I think, so far.
Yes. Kita sudah membahas tentang bagaimana suatu industri recycle era baru di mana kita merubah sampah plastik botol ini sehingga bisa digunakan lagi, food grade, aman, dengan suatu standar tertentu yang dimana itu bisa masuk lagi menjadi botol. Dan itu adalah salah satunya di Bumi Indus Padmajaya yang didirikan oleh Pak Naman Mehta ini. Jadi beliau jauh-jauh dari India, dan akhirnya kita beruntung nih, di Indonesia ada lagi satu industri yang bisa menjadi solusi dari permasalahan sampah plastik yang ada di sini. Oke, Pak Naman, maybe do you still have something to...
Yeah, it would be. I think what I'd like to say is that so there's a lot of misconception amongst the people on whether this PET is good or not.
Yeah.
So in a very, very small explanation, in small words that I'd like to explain is that PET is probably the most beautiful plastic.
It's beautiful
polymer.
like me.
So PET is the most.
Oh, you
frankly,
you didn't reply me.
You know it, yeah, always, of course.
Okay.
So PET has been the most accessible,
Yes.
approachable, easy, flexible
Yeah.
plastic polymer that has anytime been in the world. And people have misconception that glass is better or something is better.
Yes.
There is ample amount of study available that PET is 100% food grade
Yes.
product. So we are completely 100% believer that PET should be there and it should
And the
always be
carbon
used.
footprint as well,
Is
yeah.
negligible. It's
Yeah.
negligible as compared to the alternatives that are available. The only thing that all of us really need to do together is be more aware, be more
Yes.
educated about it,
Yeah.
and everyone should just know that this is something that is 100% recyclable.
Yeah.
Please dispose it responsibly.
Yes.
And Indonesia has fantastic infrastructure already in place, and the collection rate is very strong. So if you are responsibly disposing it, sampa, right? So
Yes.
disposing
Yes.
it in properly.
Yeah. Properly.
Almost 90 to 95% chances is that this bottle is going to come into facilities like us or other places, and it is going to get recycled. So yeah, so just effectively and responsibly dispose the plastic waste. Yeah, so it will land up responsibly. That's
Yeah.
all. Thank you so much for
Oke,
having me.
thank you so much ya Pak
Yeah, thank
Naman
you for
ya.
having me.
Dan jangan lupa tadi sempat disampaikan oleh Pak Naman bahwa PET ini memang memiliki nilai yang bagus ya untuk dikumpulkan, dan apabila kita memperlakukannya dengan bijak, maka botol ini akan kembali untuk di-recycle lagi ke pabrik-pabrik yang seperti dimiliki oleh Pak Naman beserta teman-temannya ini. Oke, Sobat Adupi, kita akhiri pembicaraan kita hari ini dengan saya Christine dan Pak Naman Meta. Sampai jumpa lagi. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.